Hello everyone, welcome to my February reset video. Today I'll be taking you through my February TBR, the books I've chosen to read this month, as well as my reading journal setup and probably a couple goals I have for this month. If you watch my New Year reset, I took you through like all of my goals for 2026, like my New Year resolutions, if you can even call them that, and kind of just like everything I was planning to do in the new year. So I think I'm going to start going month by month and like assessing how I'm doing with my goals. That way I can actually achieve them. I just feel like that is a good habit to start, and since February is the second month of the year, it'll be the first time I'm actually like seeing my progress. But first I'm going to take you through my February TBR, so we will begin with that. So last month I did choose from my TBR jar, but for February I always have like pretty bad reading months. Not like bad necessarily, but I just never read that many books, and if I do read books, they're like not really my favorite. Like I remember last February in 2025 I read one graphic novel that was really boring to me, and I read Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros, which I ended up giving like 2.5 stars because it just really disappointed me, and it took me the entire month to read because it was just such a long, disappointing book. So I'm trying to like break the cycle of having February be a horrible reading month for me, because February is my birthday month. So I'll be turning 22 this month, which is really exciting. I want to spend this month reading books that I hope I will love and books that I'm actually excited about. I don't know why I haven't like made this a priority before, but I feel like it's really important to me to start reading the books that I actually want to read, that I actually think I will rate highly and that will potentially become favorites. Because why would I waste my time like reading a book I don't think I'll like just for the sake of a challenge or a TBR prompt, if that makes sense. So that's a long-winded way of saying that I'm not using a TBR jar. I'm literally just choosing them on my own whims, and I'm going to show them to you. So let's just get started. So there's actually a couple that I'm currently reading. I'm currently reading about 4 books. It's actually the last couple of days of January right now, so I will be reading these going into February. So I'm counting them as like kind of TBR, but they're mostly like just currently reading books. So the first one is kind of on theme because of Valentine's Day, and it is First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. So this is a romance book. It's pretty popular online, so a lot of you may already know what this is about. But my friend Haley got this for me for Christmas, and I was kind of just in the mood for a romance, kind of like a palate cleanser and something to break up the dense fantasy books I've been reading recently. So for progress, I'm about like 140 so pages in, so I definitely will plan to finish this hopefully early in February, hopefully before Valentine's Day. I think that would be really fun. But this follows Aidan Valentine, who is the host of a romance talk show or like radio show called Heartstrings, but he's kind of like fallen out of love with love. He's very like melancholic and, you know, not really into the show anymore until one night this little girl calls in and basically is talking about how her mom is super lonely, has horrible luck with dating, and she wants to find her a boyfriend or something. And so the mom's name is Lucy, and she ends up talking to Aidan and basically going on this long spiel about how she wants magic in her relationships. She's sick of the dating culture, and she wants to find like something romantic, like something for her without all the like, you know, crap about going on dates and all this stigma around dating. So basically Lucy now is joining this radio show and being like a co-host with Aidan a couple nights of the week because her segment on the show when her daughter called in went viral. So a lot of people want to know if she's going to find love, and so these characters are kind of going to work together and maybe find love, maybe fall in love. So I made some good progress with this. I definitely plan to finish it in the next coming weeks. And the main book that I'm in the middle of, which is the dense fantasy book, is Empire Storms by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 6th book in the Throne of Glass series. I've been reading the series for like 2 or so years, maybe even 3. I don't really know at this point, and I'm just ready to be done. I've had a lot of friends read it recently, and they've already finished it, and I'm kind of like, why have I not read it? Like, why have I not just gotten over myself and finished the dang series? But I was so scared of doing the tandem read for so long that I just ended up reading this on its own. I don't really see the need to read this one and Tower of Dawn together. Like, I understand why people do it because the events in this book take place at the same time as the events in Tower of Dawn, just with different characters. So people were reading it together in tandem so you could get like the biggest picture possible. But for me, this is already a big enough picture, and I actually like Kale as a character. A lot of people don't. He's kind of like you know, a gray area in the Throne of Glass fandom, and so I feel like a lot of people do the tandem read because they don't like Kale and they want his book, like his story, to be intertwined with all the other characters. So I understand why people do the tandem read, but personally I love Kale and I'm totally okay with having a book of just following him. I think that'll be really interesting, and I feel like Sarah J Maas wrote these separately for a reason. You know what I mean? Like if she wanted Kale's story to be in this book, it would just be either 2 books or one big giant book. So I'm just gonna read them separately. But yeah, I have made some progress with this. I'm on page 262, so not that far. It is almost 700 pages, but I definitely plan to finish this as well. I'm so excited to continue this series. And then I'm also reading a book on my iPad, which is an e-arc from NetGalley. This one actually is a new release for February, so it's The Trident and the Pearl by Sarah K. L. Wilson. This is actually like one of my most anticipated releases of the year, so I was very excited to receive this arc. But this follows the main character, Coryllis, who's the queen of her islands. But at the start of the book, they are flooding and her people are like displaced. They're basically drowning. And so as a last bit of hope, she goes to the temple to plead with the god of the sea named Okeanos, I think is how you say it. And she basically like gives up her life, her queendom, to sacrifice anything to save her people. And so the god of the sea responds and says, I will save your kingdom, I will stop the flooding, I will stop everything terrible happening to your kingdom, but you must forego your title as queen, you must forego your kingdom as a whole, and you have to marry the first person who steps foot onto your kingdom's docks. So she agrees, she wants to save her people, and so they rush down, and the first person who steps on the docks is just a lowly fisherman, and he's now in this marriage bargain, unbeknownst to him, with this queen because of this sea god. So that's all I'm gonna say. Since the book is not out yet, I can't really like go too far into what it's about, but that's really all you need to know. I'm currently about 38% into this book, so it is a bit slower for me, but I tend to have some issues focusing when I'm reading on like a screen instead of a physical book, so that's probably why. But I definitely want to finish this before it comes out. Might even get a physical copy if I end up loving it, so that is definitely another reading plan for me. So the next book on my unofficial February TBR, to be honest, this is more of like hopefuls. These are books that I like kind of would really like to read this month, but I'm not necessarily going to stick to it. I more so just want to mood read this month. At this very second, these are the books that I am in the mood for, if that makes sense. But I do have a book club on the Fable app called Frolicking Through Fantasy. It's kind of still like nothing right now. I feel like it's kind of just me there, but I'm okay with that. But I'm trying to be consistent with it every month, so I need to choose a book for February, and I haven't actually decided on one. I sent out a poll so people can vote if they want to, so if you would like to join the book club, go download the Fable app. I would love to have you in this book club because I really want to post like vlogs about the books we read. I think that would be so much fun. But anyways, there are 3 book options that I've posted for February, so I will take you through them real quick. First one is Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This is a standalone Alice in Wonderland retelling, pretty popular, and I'm really excited to read this. I've had it on my TBR for quite some time, and I feel like a lot of people love this book, and I kind of just want to know what goes on. I want to know what the hype is about. And then the next one is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Infernal Devices series, which I've been meaning to start for so long. I read all the first 3 of the Mortal Instruments series back in 2024. I'm pretty sure, which feels like forever ago now. So I've been meaning to read this series for a very long time. And I know like not a lot of people have read the Shadowhunters books, but I feel like you can still start with this and like be okay. You don't really need to read the Mortal Instruments. So I definitely am excited about this one as well. And then the last one is actually a book I've already started, which is The Weaver Bride by Lydia Gregovich. This is a YA fantasy. I believe it's the first book in a series. I'm not too sure. So I've actually already made progress with The Weaver Bride, but I still wanted to throw it in the loop for the book club pick because I feel like not a lot of people have read it, and I'm trying to pick books that like are semi-popular, but I also want to include some that might not be like the super mainstream books that everyone else is choosing for their book club. So that is up in the air on whether I will read any of these books, or well, I'll definitely finish The Weaver Bride. But it is up in the air if any of these books are going to be the Fable book club pick. We will just have to see. But I have placed Clockwork Angel on my TBR either way because I've been meaning to start it for so long. So this is definitely one that I feel myself gravitating towards. Heartless I'm still interested in, but it's kind of just like if it becomes the Fable book, then I'll read it. If not, I would like to get to it, but like it's no big deal. It's kind of just another option. So Basically, I don't know what the book club book is yet, but those are the options. Then the next two on the list are books that I am so freaking excited about. These are the two that I've like been thinking about for so long and I cannot wait to pick them up. The first one is City of Gods and Monsters by Kayla Edwards. This series kind of blew up online and I've been dying to know what it's about. I've been dying to know these characters. I see so much fan art of them and I just really want to know. I want to be in the know about what goes on in these books, but actually just got picked up for traditional publishing, so I found this indie copy on Pango Books. I had a whole debacle with it in a vlog that you can go watch. But I did get my hands on an indie copy, so I'm really hoping I love this book and I love the start of the series because I really want to know what goes on. I want to know why people love it. It definitely reminds me a lot of Crescent City. It's kind of like an urban fantasy. It's got a lot of different types of people, creatures, vampires, werewolves, witches, other supernatural creatures, and there are gangs called Dark Slayers, which are supernatural bounty hunters that possess the Sight, which is a magical tracking ability that allows them to see a person's aura. And so the main character, Lauren, is like almost abducted, but her friend is instead, and these abductors demand like a ransom. They want Lauren's life in exchange for her friend's safe return, so she pairs up with this guy named Darian Castle, who is the leader of one of these dark slaying groups, which is called the Seven Devils. And so they kind of have to like pair up for a common goal or kind of just like work together, and I'm just ready. Like I need something fun and I really hope this is well written because I have a feeling I'm gonna love this. We'll pray. And then the other one that I've been thinking about for a while is Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've read 3 of her books so far and I've loved all of them. They've all been 4.5 or 5 stars and I've just really been wanting to continue reading books by her. I just love her writing style. I love how she does like character studies almost with all these different people, and her books just always seem like as if they are real. Like I know they're fiction, I know these people aren't real, but the way she situates her characters in the world, like almost in the real world, it feels like I'm watching a movie. Every time I read one of her books, I just love it so much. Like I'm just so excited to see all about Carrie Soto. I've heard a lot of good things about this book and a lot of people seem to love her character, Carrie Soto's character, and I'm just ready. Plus I found this really cool UK paperback at Half Price Books, so I'm ready to dive into this. And I'm also really excited for this because tennis kind of like runs in my family. My grandparents used to own a tennis shop. It's a big part of that side of the family's history, so I'm hoping to give this to my grandma to read once I finish because I feel like she can maybe relate to it or she'll be really interested in it because she loves tennis. So I have 2 more on this TBR list and I know this is kind of getting long. It is kind of ambitious even though I said I'm just gonna mood read, but hey, to be honest, I'm just okay with like having options. Like I don't need to get to all of these. I more so just want to prioritize the books that I am the most excited about. And another one on my radar is actually not out yet. It comes out February 17th, which is Agnes Albert's Mystical Cat Shelter by Heather Fawcett. That is a mouthful of a title. But this is a new release from the author of Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I read that last year in like July and August. I buddy read it with my friend Haley and I really enjoyed it. It was definitely like hard to get into and hard to like stick to consistently, but I really liked Emily Wilde's character and kind of like the fairy aspect from a scholarly perspective instead of like a smutty and like romantasy perspective. It was really refreshing, so I hope to continue that series soon, but anything with cats, like I'm in. So if we have a mystical cat shelter with, I think it's like French inspired, I'm not really too sure what the actual plot of this book is, but all I know is that the cover is beautiful, it has cats, I liked Emily Wilde by this author, so sign me up. Like I'm in. I've already pre-ordered it, so hopefully it will get here on time and I can dive into that. Hopefully I can like start it this month. I don't know if I'll finish it in February. And then the last book that I'm hesitant to put on like a TBR or even mention it because I'm intimidated by this book, but it is on my 2026 TBR and the movie adaptation comes out this month, which I have mixed feelings about, but I really want to like know what the story is. So that is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I didn't know it would be this tiny little mass market, but I just don't really like how like cramped it is on the page. I just wish I had like room to like, I don't know, see it. But yeah, obviously the movie adaptation with Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi comes out I think the 13th of February, if I'm not mistaken, and I feel like that trailer took everyone by storm on the internet. I definitely have mixed feelings about it, but like I'm also curious. Like I also really want to know, like I want to watch it and see what I think, but I have no concept of the story of Wuthering Heights whatsoever, so I don't see myself like finishing this before the movie comes out. I don't even see myself making that much progress, but I kind of wanted to at least give it a shot. Like even if this isn't the right time for me to read this book, I set it on my 2026 TBR. I would like to read it at some point, so I just wanted to get a library copy. That way I could kind of dip my toes in and see what I think, because I want to annotate it. Like it's a classic, so I already have this preconceived notion that I'm going to struggle with it and struggle with the language and the writing, and I am an English major, so you wouldn't think I would, but it's just a very different story for me. This just comes a lot harder to me than a book like Carrie Soto or like a fantasy book, you know? So ideally I would like to annotate a copy, but I just got one from the library because I'm just curious. I just want to give it a shot, see what I think, and at least be a little bit familiar with the story if I decide to go see the movie. Who knows? I might just wait until the summer until I have time and I'm graduated and I can, you know, spend as much time with this book and the movie as I want, but I wanted to include it either way. So I've been yapping quite a bit. I have a lot of books I'm excited about this month. I'm definitely praying that it'll be a successful reading month and that I can balance everything with school and my writing and everything I do. I just tend to pile as much on my plate as possible. So without further ado, let's get into my reading journal setup, and then once we are done, we will come back and talk about my goals for February. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed watching my reading journal setup. I'm definitely happy with how this turned out. I used my new washi tapes from, I think, Notebook Therapy, but my cousin got me them for Christmas, so I'm very happy to have used them. They're so pretty. And then this font took so long, but I've been loving this like old English medieval font, and it was really fun to like draw out. I really like that. So yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very pleased with my reading journal spreads. But now that we've done that, let's go into my goals for February. So if we flip back to my 2026 goals spread, I kind of just want to run through it and assess like where I am. And I just want to say what progress I've made, and then also think about and kind of make some like smaller plans, smaller goals for this month. Like obviously I probably won't do anything too monumental, but I just want to like kind of set the intention for it. So one of the ones I had is less screen time, and I can definitely say I've been successful with this so far. I used to spend like so much time on Instagram, but I actually haven't been on Instagram in probably about 2 to 3 weeks at the time of filming this. Like I've broken it a couple times just to like, you know, check something real quick, but I haven't really been like mindlessly scrolling, which I used to do, and I'm really proud of myself for that. I feel like that is my #1 bad habit, is just mindlessly being on my phone and scrolling through reels or just the feed, just instead of doing my work or reading or literally anything but being on my phone. So I'm very happy with that so far. And truly it's because I've like blocked the app. Like I don't even have it on my home screen anymore. I have an app blocker where it blocks it for like 12 hours of the day. So by the time the like, you know, blocking is over, I don't have the energy to do it anymore. Definitely been helpful, so I plan to continue that. One I've definitely been lacking on is consistency. I feel like I've been good with like my YouTube uploads and my reading so far, but as for like the gym and like my other hobbies like writing, I have not been very good at that. I've been going to the gym like 1 day a week, but to be fair, in my defense, I literally had a stomach bug for like a week immediately after I got my period, and then we got a snowstorm. So it's been like everything possible to block me from going to the gym. Like my body has just not been agreeing with me, but that's just something I need to work on going forward. I really would like to be to the point where I'm going 3 to 4 days a week and being super consistent with it. And same thing with writing. I really need to start sticking to the plans I've made for writing, because obviously I want to finish my first draft, so I really need to be consistent with that and be more disciplined than motivated, because in the end discipline is what's going to get me there, not just motivation whenever I have it. So yeah, write every day. I definitely need to get better at that. I have not been writing like at all. I definitely need to fix that. And yeah, there's others on here that I definitely am also lacking in. January always feels like a weird month. Like it's the start of so many new things. You set all these new goals, and then by the time February hits, you're like, oh, I actually have to do that stuff. And it's just really hard to like incorporate it, especially when you already have a pretty solid routine. Like I have a pretty solid routine with my classes and then my work schedule. It's all like, it doesn't really change. So I feel like I need to go a step further and implement these goals into what I already know. It's definitely easier said than done, but I think my top 3, you know, mindset switches for February is going to be prioritizing habits instead of just like long-term goals. So instead of like, oh, finish your first draft of your book, it's going to be write X amount of words every day. I used to not want to do that anymore, but now I definitely think that's going to get me where I need to go. So I would say set a word count goal every day. That's definitely going to be the one that I try to go for. And then I would also say work out and like prioritize movement, even if it's not going to the gym, because you know, sometimes with the weather right now, I can't. Like it's very hard. It's so freaking cold and my body just doesn't have energy, or I'm sick or something. So I just need to prioritize movement, whether it's stretching, walking on the treadmill. Like there's other things I can do besides just going to the gym. And then I would also like to keep up the like social media detox. I've definitely been spending a lot more time like on YouTube because I'm not on Instagram. I feel like I'm always switching apps. Once upon a time it was TikTok, and then I deleted TikTok, and then I went to Instagram, and now I'm not as much on Instagram anymore, so now it's YouTube. I feel like it's always changing, but I feel like YouTube is a bit better because there's longer form videos. I can train my attention span better. But anyways, that's all to say. I want to keep up my like screen-free time for sure. So yeah, these are all the books on my official February TBR. To be honest, it's more of just like I want to read as many of these as I can. So that is all I have for this video. I really hope you enjoyed. I feel like I've been yapping quite a lot in this video, like I've had a lot to say, so thank you for sticking with me. So make sure to leave a like and leave a comment on what you're planning to read in February. If you've read any of these books, I would love to know your thoughts. Definitely leave them down below. And of course, make sure to subscribe. I feel like I'm really getting close to 500 subscribers, which like I can't even fathom that number. I can't even fathom that we're at like a little over 300 right now. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you're not subscribed, please do. I would love to have you around. But yeah, thank you again for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye!